Now you're what, like in your young 20s, and how did you start to become a part of it? You know, do they give you a gun and say you've got to shoot somebody? This is one of the rumors that you've got to shoot somebody, you've got to kill somebody in order to officially be accepted as part of the mafia. Is that true? How did you realize you were in, and what was expected of you?
Well, my dad sent word, downtown to the officials. About 2 weeks later, a capo regime, a captain in a family, picked me up, and he took me to see the boss. Now, Joe Colombo had been shot, seriously wounded at a big rally we had for the Italian American Civil Rights League at Columbus Circle, and I was like 12 steps away from him when that happened. So a new boss had taken over. He's passed on now, Tom DeBella. And I sat with Tom. He says, Mike, I got a message from your father. He said, you want to become a member of our life. Is that true? And I said, yes. He said, well, here's the deal. From now on, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you're on call to serve this family, the Colombo family. And that means if your mother is sick and she's dying and we call you to service and you're at her bedside, you leave your mother's side, you come and serve us. From now on, we're number one in your life before anything and everything. When and if we feel you deserve this privilege, this honor to become a member, we'll let you know. And that's how it started. I was 21 years old. I was in kind of like a pledge period. I was a recruit. That's the official title of that, where I had to do anything and everything I was told to do to prove myself worthy. And, it could have been something very menial, a lot of discipline in that life, a lot of alleged respect, a lot of, authority. You had a meeting at 8 o'clock. You weren't there at 7:30. You were late. Can never be late in that life. Drive the boss to a meeting, sit in a car 2, 3, 4 hours. God forbid you leave, go to the restroom, get a newspaper. He comes out, you're not there, you're in trouble. I know I did that once. I paid the price. A lot of stuff like that. And, Megyn, I got to be honest. The life is very violent at times. And if you're part of that life, you're part of the violence, and there's no escape. And if anybody tells you differently, they're either not being honest with you, or they weren't a made man in that life. And, I think you know what I mean. It's, but, here's the other myth. A lot of guys talk about, all of these killings, like we ran around all day long and all we did was baseball bat people and murder people. Absolutely not true. In our life, and at least in our family, I can tell you this, murder was taken very seriously. It was a last course of action. It had to be approved by the boss. There was discussion over it most of the time, at least my experience in the 20 plus years I put into that life. It wasn't that guys were running around every day, just targeting people to hurt. And I know, there's a lot of guys on YouTube that talk that way now. That wasn't my experience. But it is part of the life. And if you're called upon to do it, you got to do it.
Was it petty crime? Was it like, you didn't pay back the loan, so I got to break your legs? That's not petty, but I'm just saying it was violent, but it wasn't murder. So did you have to hurt people? Because I feel like that would be a before and after moment.
Well, let's put it this way. I had a lot of bookmakers around me that were obviously taking bets illegally at the time. And, the last course of action is to hurt somebody, because if somebody's in debt to you, you want them to pay you. It's only if they're, doing something like so obnoxious to you that, hey, you've got to teach this guy a lesson. But it's not the first course of action. At least with me, it wasn't. And with most of the people that I knew at that time, certainly not with my dad. That wasn't a first course of action. But did it happen at times? Yeah, I'm not going to say it didn't. And, there was kind of two different categories, I would say, in that life. You're either a racketeer or you're a gangster. Give you an example. In our family, we had 115 made guys at that time. This was after I took the oath. 115 made guys. Out of that 115, maybe 20 of us were real earners. We were bringing money into the life. 20. The other 95, who's got a no-show job, who's got a gambling, who's trying to do something just to make a few bucks. And they're the guys that, were leaned upon most of the time to do the work, because you got to earn your way in that life. Guys that are bringing in money, they want to protect those guys. However, a gangster never really had the ability to become a racketeer, because if he did, he would be, and he'd be earning. But a racketeer has to be both, because you're going to be called upon in that life to do what you have to do, and you can't refuse, and you got to be capable in that regard. So, but again, the smarter guys, you don't want to hurt people every day. That's not what we were out to do.
It must have been a jarring flip, right? To go from this world in which you thought you were going to be a doctor healing people, to this world in which you became part of the mafia, sometimes having to hurt people, right? Like, do you ever think about it like that?
I did, Megan, but quite honestly, maybe it was because being around my dad my whole life, or maybe I did have something in me. Maybe I wasn't destined to be a doctor. I don't know. I mean, I often reflected on that myself and said, how did I adapt to this so well? Because, I had some success in life. And look, I'll be honest with you, I had a very idealistic view of the life. When I got into the life, they told me, hey, you don't ever have to worry. Wherever you go in the world, somebody's going to have your back. Don't ever worry about your mother, your sister, your wife, your daughter. Nobody's ever going to hurt them. We'll protect them. You have a brotherhood around you. I was going to be, bonded in blood in a different way, with my father than I already was. So I had a very idealistic view of the life coming in. I was excited about it, and I wanted to be the best possible mob guy I could be at that time. So, maybe I did have it in me all the time. I just didn't know it.
If, like me, runaway inflation and a festering economic crisis has you feeling increasingly uneasy about the future, it's high time to take steps to protect it. American Hartford Gold, a trusted precious metal dealer, specializes in helping you safeguard your savings and retirement accounts. They can easily guide you through the process of diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Getting started is as simple as making a quick phone call, and they will arrange for the delivery of physical gold and silver right to your doorstep. Alternatively, you can choose to have these precious metals placed in a gold IRA. American Hartford Gold has earned a reputation for trust, a reputation backed by an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and a 5-star rating from thousands of satisfied clients. Here now is an exclusive offer for you. When you call them right now, they will provide you with up to $5,000 in free silver and even throw in a free safe with qualifying orders. That's a great deal. Don't procrastinate. Give them a call now at 866-518-2955. Or for added convenience, just text my name, Megyn, that's Megyn, to 65532. Call 866-518-2955 or text Megyn to 65532. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.